Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Radiant Tale. Are you excited for that? I am. I'm having a great time. It's only been like 2 hours, but still. Anyway, we were about to sign the contract with Ginia. It kind of came full circle in the first 2 parts. Anyway. And no need to worry. Why hesitate? After all you have to do is write your name, and you'll get exactly what you wish for. I mean, true, I've been a little bothered by the wear and tear of the tavern lately. And Spiria, is that what we said? Guys, I'm never going to be able to get any of these names. And Spiria is always busy, so I want to help her get a chance to travel and relax, but... So come on, hurry and sign. Well, get on with it. You're the perfect addition to the team. Yeah, you need someone in the sausage fest. I mean, Ginia counts as the closest thing to a woman this team has. I'm just saying, look how gorgeous he is. Seriously, if you send this screenshot to someone, they'd be like, she's hot. He's so feminine. I love it. Look, slap glasses on the mother. He doesn't even need glasses. I'm just saying. Anyway. And not to mention that saving His Highness is the dearest wish of everyone in this country. Wouldn't it be natural for a citizen of good conscience to do everything they can? Natural? It wasn't natural that an Arthier citizen would try to save the prince. It was natural that an Arthier citizen would try to save the prince. It would even benefit our tavern in Spiria. Spiria? Guys, I can't. What is wrong with me? Every time I just want to change and go between A and B because I don't know how these are pronounced and my brain can't handle sticking with one. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I'm sorry. Because it's gotta drive you nuts. You gotta be like, oh my god, stick with one. But I can't. My brain is just broken. Like, I'm trying to, but then every time I'm like, what did we say? What was I gonna do? Anyway. Spiria. Joining Circus might really be natural. Thinking that, I decided to reach for the pen, but that was when... Wait! Let's pause things here. Oh, he doesn't want to lose us. I get what you're all about now, but asking someone to make such a decision on the spot's pretty unfair. She's her own person, and she has her own feelings. Give her time to think, will ya? Spiria and Rady cut into the conversation. I suppose I can arrange that. I'll come again tomorrow, so please have your mind made up by then. It's like 10 o'clock at night, he shows up at like 2 a.m. He's like, it's tomorrow. I look forward to getting a big yes. After that conversation, Ginia returned home and the others in the group all retired to their guest rooms. We closed for the night, which draped a veil of silence over the tavern. Then Rady, Spiria, and I talked. They're going around all the big cities, performing and making flowers bloom. And they want you to be in charge of their promotion. I have that right. Public relations manager and producer. I think that's what they said. The thing about granting our wishes was also way too sudden. Feels surreal, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it does sound like a fantastic opportunity, but the crux of the matter is their show is an important job. One that is part in healing the prince's heart, right? That's what they said, yeah. There's no way I could take that on. And I think they gave that offer to me probably just on a whim or as a joke. Yeah, that's it. That must be it. Once I realized that, things were simple. Okay, I've made up my mind. I'll decline them formally tomorrow. Spacey. The only place I belong is Liber. Or Liber. Liber is better. Like Libra. Or, you know what I mean? Instead of Liber. Like you're liable for the... I don't know, that feels like negative. But anyway, we're going to change it the next time we talk it because I can't remember what freaking, like, pronunciation I decided on. Good God. I'm just going to start calling it all... Every time it comes up, I'm going to be like Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Cancer. I'm just going to call it all sorts of different zodiac signs. Like, Libra would be easier if I start thinking of it as Libra. That's why I'm just going to start calling it different constellations. Figure out what I'm talking about. I could never go off on a journey with those strange people if it meant leaving you two. Never. Well, you've got a point there. You'd suffer both mentally and physically if you traveled with those guys. If that's what you've decided on, that's the best thing for you. I'll back you up so you can stand tall and give him a big no. Okay, thanks, Rady. I love how he's so defensive of us. Like, yeah, you need me. And it's like, not really, you alcoholic. He's literally an alcoholic freaking fur cuff, you know? I must say, though, they really surprised me today. First, a real dragon, then a spirit contractor, an information broker, and an ex-officer. Even the leader's a noble. What were they even thinking when they came up with that roster? Having traits that set them apart can also work in their favor. If they performed well, it'd be an amazing show. It's a little wasteful considering that. She's over there like, girl wants this job. Genia told me, when humans stay at inns, it's a good etiquette to barge into people's rooms and do girl talk and gossip. Okay, Billy was not my type, but I do love him a lot. He's such an idiot. Okay, I love our big dumb himbo. Alright. Okay, he's our little twinkish himbo, to be fair, because he's not, like, big and buff. He is a dragon, though, but I mean, he's the closest thing we have to a himbo. What do you actually call... I mean, I guess himbo applies whether you're tall or small and buff or skinny, you know what I mean? Because he's not like a big bear of a man, he's a little more on the twink side, right? But he is definitely a himbo, because he's a fucking idiot. He's so dumb. I love it. Oh, he's charming. You know? Oh. And it works in this scenario because he's a dragon. He's not from a normal culture. So he doesn't understand normal human norms. You know what I mean? So, like, that makes it so much better. You know what I mean? That's why I brought Pashali along. Cursed noble. What rubbish is he teaching this guy? Listen, forget about it and go back to your room. No, definitely doesn't know what those terms mean. Shalia, don't you sit on my bed with a straight face as if that's the natural course of action. Lively as always, huh? Jeez, these guys. Do they even realize what time it is? Oh well, I'll go take a look. I listened to the ruckus upstairs and smiled to myself. They said they're going to visit all the main cities, and I have a feeling that they'll bring trouble wherever they go. As I said that, I turned around to face Spiria again, but... Is declining really what you want to do? Huh? Spiria was looking right at me with a stirred expression. I love the fact that her voice is different every time we see her, because I just can't do a voice for her. I don't know, but... Why ask that? I mean, that's a silly question. I don't even have to think about it. It would have been funnier if we actually gave her, like, oh my god, is that really what you want to do? Like, she doesn't look like she should have the Valley Girl voice. Then it would have been fun. Too late now. She's just got whatever the hell we give her each time. We're descending into chaos, guys, where I just change the name of everything all the time because I don't know how to pronounce things in this game, and then I'm just going to give different voices to different characters all the time, and it's like, I swear I'm not drunk. My home, the place I belong, is Liber. I can't even imagine my heart going anywhere else. I know that. I'm happy you think so, and I had a feeling you'd say that. But, Facey, having no choice in the first place versus choosing Liber among many, they may seem similar, but are very different. Syria? For some reason, sorrow flickered through the eyes, staring into mine. Why is she sad? Is it my fault? I felt lost and didn't know what to say, but Speria spoke to me in a gentle tone. When you first came to this tavern, I remember that day like it was yesterday. Well, I mean, it was only 2 weeks ago, but I'm just kidding. Actually, it kind of was yesterday. I'm just saying. Alright, fair. For you guys, it was several days ago, but, like, I recorded the other 2 parts yesterday. Yesterday for me. We were around 1 or 2, I think. I was really shocked when my younger brother and his wife suddenly brought you here. I remember that, too. I was gonna make fun. You were 1 or 2 and you remember, but I have some very strong memories from when I was 2. 90% of them are gone, but there's just, like, 1 that I remember because it was traumatic. Like, so you never know what your first memory is gonna be. Fun that was my earliest memory. It's traumatic for me, but everyone in my family thought it. I may have told this story already, but my family let Charlie Chaplin kidnap me. It's fun when I can hear my dad laughing from the other side. Okay, I can just, part of it is that it's a funny story in my family, but I do. Everyone will be like, "You didn't remember it. You only remember because people talk about it." And it's like, no, I remember. I can remember bits and pieces of that trip because it was Universal Studios, California. We were out there. Apparently, I was terrified of Frankenstein. I mean, what 2-year-old wouldn't be? And Charlie Chaplin. Okay, don't ask, but I was terrified of him. So I don't really remember that. I just remember one instance where I guess Charlie Chaplin thought it was fucking funny that I was terrified of him and would always try to take my hand and stuff like that. So one time he did it when I wasn't paying attention. My mom gave him my hand and he started walking down the street with me. And I just remember everyone being, bye! And I like kind of remember looking back and seeing everybody behind me, like my sisters and my mom and my dad. But I was holding my mom's hand, And then I'm like, wait, we're looking up and it's Charlie Chaplin. And then looking away, and then it took a second to dawn on me, and then I screamed and ran back, and like, this was like there were other people around. They just watched this happen. This man tried to kidnap me. He thought it was funny. And my dad thinks thought it was the funniest damn thing. Anytime he told that story, oh my God, he almost like passed out laughing. And again, people always say like, oh, you don't remember it. It's just because the story gets told so much. I'm like, but I do. I remember that bit because I also remember we were sitting in like, I remember the kind of stands. And it was like under a tent, kind of like outside. I don't think it was in a building. Maybe it was. That part's vague. You know what I mean? Like you have vague impressions of certain things. And like my sisters were picked when they were we're all kids, like to do this little like skit kind of thing. And my sister was an old-fashioned Bobby with the old-fashioned like Bobby hat, the tall one, whatever. And they did these little skit kind of things and they displayed it up on a monitor. Not like a monitor, but like on a like a projection, like a screen or whatever, projection screen. Because this was ye olde days. And my other sister was a robber, and I just remember the stands, and I kind of remember seeing the kids on the little stage thing, and and I remember bits and pieces of that, and it's like I can picture that in my head. And now maybe again you're like it was outside, and you're like no, it wasn't. Like maybe bits and pieces you misremember, but I'm like I remember sitting there, I remember seeing this, and that's not something that anyone ever really talked about, that you could paint that picture. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I do have vague impressions of that trip, just those few little bits. So I'm like, I do remember Charlie Chaplin walking away with me. I don't remember the first time I met him. I don't remember all the other times he used to try coming up to me every time he saw me. And my mom would tell me that, like, oh, every time he saw you, he would make a beeline because he just thought it was so funny that I was terrified. Like, what a sadistic bastard. Like, what the hell? It's a fucking hilarious story, though, if you think about it, because it's like, because you always have to start with, yeah, Charlie Chaplin tried to kidnap me when I was 2, and then everyone's like, excuse me, what now? And then you have to go into the story. It's a really great storytelling device, you know what I mean? But, and the good thing about it, the part about it that's the best is, like, it is a hilarious story, because, like, who the fuck has a story like that? Like, Jesus. But also, because my dad's passed away now, but I can still see him laughing hysterically about this, and I can hear his laughter in my head because we'd talk about that story so many times, and he'd laugh every time. Like, it's so burned into me that it's like, when someone dies, you start thinking, like, you start to forget, like, you have pictures, you remember their face, but you're like, God, do you remember their voice? Like, things fade, and it's like, that will always be so burned into my memory that I don't think I'll ever forget my dad's laugh because of that. So, that's good. I mean, laughing so hard you'd almost choke. Actually would choke. You know what I mean? Like, and I can visualize this and hear it and see it in my head, and like, so that's the benefit that came from that, I guess. Also, come on, that was entertaining, wasn't it? You have a little laugh, you were like, what the shit? What kind of story is that? It's amazing. Anyway, so I can't make fun of her and say, like, oh, you can't remember stuff from when you were 1 or 2. Yeah, you might be able to remember that, yeah. Certain memories do make a big impression. My parents would take me here only on occasion, but I loved it every time. Yeah, whenever you came over, you'd help me out with a big grin on your face. Our regulars were also fond of you, and you were a poster girl in a way, just like now. Yeah. I thought we were going to get like a little flashback CG, but it's just a flashback. Feeling a pang in my chest, I slowly unraveled the threads of my memories. My warm memories over 10 years ago, back when Mom and Dad were still alive. I hope it was over 10 years ago because she said 1 or 2. We're not 12. That's gross. It was a nasty shock to me when your parents died. And also, how you became a lifeless doll, just like Prince. We say we're going to be Clivis? Clivis? What do we say? How we're going to pronounce his name? Which one sounds worse? Clivis? Clivis? Clivis sounds. There's just something about that where you're like, no. Clivis. Clivis? 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 Like, Clivis. Clivis. Either one sounds like a medication, but Clivis sounds more like a medication than. No, Clivis sounds more like a medication than Clivis. To prevent you, may cause death. You know what I mean? Clivis. Kind of like you could say it faster and sounds less medicated. Medication-y. We're gonna fuck this one up too. God damn it. Could you give him normal names? Like, can we just call him Tom? Prince Tom. Colin. We'll call him Colin. There you go. This? Clivis? Clivis? Yeah, Clivis. Sounds like. Okay. I can't, guys. I'm never gonna remember. I'm gonna say it different every time. I don't know what's wrong with me in this game. Anyway. Prince Clivis, even though you used to be such a cheerful, energetic girl. It's a painful memory that even a close-knit family like us avoided. I just want to know who came up with the names for the side characters in this game, because I just want to have a conversation. And it's not going to involve a slap across the face. Like, why would you come up with the weirdest names that sound like medications? Like, if you... Spirea is okay, but Spirea, if you spent her name like that, that also sounds like a medication. Were you watching American drug infomercials? Why? Clivis? Spirea? Like, they sound like diseases, bacteria, or a medication to cure said bacterias. Spirea sounds like a bacteria that Clivis treats. Okay? Why? Spirea is fine. That doesn't sound as bad, but then Clivis also, that actually sounds like an illness, too. I mean, I guess the kid's got a broken heart, so maybe that's the only thing. You know what I mean, though? Like, fucking A. Anyway. I'd apparently sealed away my heart due to the shock of losing my parents, reduced to a doll without emotions for a long time. Yeah, I mean, that shit's gonna hurt. I couldn't remember most of what happened back then. There's a black void in my memory. Back then, I was desperate, thinking that I needed to do something about it somehow. Spirea said gently, then gave a rueful smile. I say that, but I wasn't much help, to be honest. One who put your heart back together over the many years was Rady, who stayed by your side no matter the time or place. That's not the case at all. Rady isn't the only one, because you too were around that I became who I am today. On that day when my emotions came back to me in shards, you made pancakes for me, and I'll never forget the taste. Once I had been at Liber for a few years. Thanks to my family, my heart began to move forward from its frozen state. However, important pieces were still missing, and I'd spend every day in a daze. I'm gonna put on a new item on the menu. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna put a new item on the menu soon. Could you taste it for me? Taste? Yeah, it's your favorite that I always used to make for you, remember? Oh, those look so good, even in black and white. It tasted very sweet, very kind. How is it, Spacey? Does it taste good? It does. Tears welled up and slid down. Seeing that. See, thank goodness. Spirea seemed to be overwhelmed with emotions as she hugged me tight. At the same time, Floris bloomed delicately, fueled by the embers inside my heart. Spirea, swimming out of my memories, I opened my eyes. Spirea had the same tenderness in her eyes as back then, and she leaned in close to me. Time really flies, and it's been 10 years since you've come. Now you're our wonderful poster girl through and through. care about this tavern and our customers just as much as I do. But tell me, is that really what happiness is to you? It is. It really is. There's no way I'm not happy. My dearest family is with me, and I have a job that's really worth doing. And if these ordinary days continued forever and ever, that's more than enough. But you're also aware, aren't you? Forever isn't something possible. She forced me to face something I had tried to ignore, and my words ground to a halt. I'm your family, after all. I can tell, wake up in the morning, work, then sleep at night. That's your normal life, and you're scared of it collapsing. Parents were still around, you were a completely different person. You'd show interest in every little thing, and wherever you found something new, chase it with sparkling eyes. You were once a child, filled with curiosity, just like your parents were. Now, but everyone changes as they mature into adults. No, we don't! Girl, shh! Some of us do not. Change? Okay, we change, but not all of us mature. Jesus. Rather than seeking out the extraordinary, they learn to cherish the everyday happiness they once took for granted. That's because we cherish the everyday happiness because we know what taxes and bills and death are. Because we're like, oh my God, I'm one day closer to death. And aches and pains. You woke up in the morning and you're like, you know what? My hip doesn't hurt today. Woohoo! Best day ever. I'm just saying. That's why we have to cherish those tiny little moments. Because everything hurts, and then we have to pay taxes and bills. Being old is depressing. Spacey, stop lying to yourself. You're clinging desperately to the normal life that you lost once along with your parents. You're scared of taking a step outside your normal box. Am I right? That's not yet. Change is scary, man. Jesus. My sentence died in my throat, especially because change is usually bad. Sometimes change is good. It's still scary. But like most of the time, change is like, it's gonna be good. But then everything bad happens. Just saying. I couldn't fully deny it, and my objections wilted as I hung my head. She's too young to have these fears, though, is all I'm saying. Why did she have to say that now? Then, the scent I loved more than anything else enveloped me in a tender embrace. Aww, look. That's so cute. She is a giant woman, or we're just short. You know what it is? Her hair. Look at her massive hair. It's a CG, just in case you didn't figure that out. But like, look at her massive hair. Jesus, her hair is like bigger than we are. You're a very good girl. I'm not your birth mother, but you're still my pride and joy. That goes for Rady too. Me, you, him. To me, you're my family, the most precious thing in my life. And that's why I have to insist now. If the word family's tying you down in a way it shouldn't be, if it's making you complacent, keeping you from seeking anything anymore, seeking anything more, then it's my duty to push you out of the nest and set you free. Does she mean I can't stay here? Being with you and Rady every day and laughing with our customers at Lieber is already more than enough for me. You're telling me to get out? Oh, you're such a silly child. I could never say that. Yeah, her hair is huge. You choose to come back after you've seen, experience all kinds of things, then I'd be over the moon, of course. But I don't want you to close the doors of your future before they've even opened. I don't want you to lie to yourself, saying that you have nowhere else to go. I want you to happily do what you want to do without wondering what if. There are a lot of adventures you can only go on when you're young. You should attempt everything you can with your whole heart. Spiria, chance like this won't ever come around again. And at the bottom of your heart, you are curious, aren't you? Weren't you so pumped that you started fantasizing about their future plans? So, why not give it a try? But, listen, Spacey, it's perfectly normal for a child to go out into the world seeking new and exciting things. At the same time, perfectly normal for parents to merrily send their kids off on their way, no matter how much they'll miss them. So, come on. Go see the outside world. Go learn as many new things as you can. Go meet all kinds of new people. I'll experience lots of things you can't do here. Spiria's right. I'm scared of leaving this place. As if I'd lose my family again if I did. As if I might go through something painful again. Scared. Could you imagine how you know what, the game's not going to do it because this is like kind of like a lighter, fluffier game. But like, if we leave and then Spiria dies while we're gone, what the fuck? That would be so awful. I don't think the game would do it because again, fluffy game. But she sees right through me and knows that inside this coward, there's also a person poking their head out with intrigue. She's encouraging me to take that first step. Spiria, yes. That was my chance to take a step forward. And because I knew that, I could say the words that I'd ignored for so long. I want to try. Spiria tightened her hold on me ever so slightly. I hugged her back and gave her a squeeze. Still scared about leaving home, but I'll try. I didn't wipe the tears that stained my cheeks. I persisted, giving her my answer. You know, I wasn't ever forcing myself at all. Working here with you two makes me happy, and I won't allow anyone to say otherwise. I know. Yeah. I nodded lightly, and once again Spiria held me in a tight hug. It's not like you'll never see me again. I'll always be here waiting for you. So, do what you want to do, Spacey. I can't believe those guys. Hey, you two, you won't believe what happened. Those guys didn't stop at making a huge fuss. They even had a pillow fight of all things. I want to see Zephora having a fucking pillow fight. Because I guarantee you, even if he was having fun, he probably had a bitch face on the whole time. And I need that in my life. There's me snoring. Okay. Huh? She fell asleep. Yeah, she was tired from crying. She only just managed to shut her eyes. So, righty, she's gonna go on that journey in the end. But I'd be worried sick if she was alone, so let you go with her. Excuse me? Wait, what in the world did you two talk about while I was gone? Nothing much. I just gave her a little boost. I'm sad as her foster mom, though. Just a little. What in the. Brady, you long realized it too, haven't you? She's too hung up on this place. She's ignoring her true feelings. She thinks that if she ever leaves, she might lose her family again. Pretty much, yeah. I've watched over her from right by her side, and I don't just boast that for nothing. I've lost count of how many times I thought that things couldn't stay this way forever. And that's why I decided to push her forward. To show her that even if she left, we're still family, and everything will be alright. I see. Jeez, I guess I'm not getting out of this one. After all, you and I are the only ones who can take care of her. No complaints here about going along with her. This alcoholic fluffball is like trying to take care of me. Looks like we got an agreement. Okay then, could you carry her to her room? The tiny puffball's gonna carry me? He's the size of a chihuahua. Could I what? Look at me carefully before you say that. How could such an adorable, fluffy critter ever lift her up? Oh, don't play games with me. You can't you? I get why you're worried, but she's fast asleep right now, so she won't notice. Okay, I mean, we knew Rady was actually a pretty boy. But, like, he always says, I can't turn into human form. So I figured, like, okay, maybe it's something in the circus. Somebody does something, and then it's like, now I can. You're trying to tell me that he's been hiding this from me the whole time? Fine. He's been hiding this from me the whole time! I love that. I mean, I again, because, like, I don't know if you guys, if you played this game, if you thought the same thing, or, you know, for anyone who's just playing along with me and hasn't actually played the game, you know, but, like, you know, when he said, oh, I can't do human form, obviously he has a human form. He's one of our love interests. But again, I was like, oh, okay, it must be something in circus. Like, somebody there does something where then they're like, you know, gives him the ability to transform when he's there. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we'll do something then. Not that he was hiding it the whole time. I thought it had something to do with the circus. You know what I mean? Woo! I kind of like that they did that though, because I feel like that's a logical conclusion when you're like, wait, he's a love interest though. Well, maybe it has something to do with the circus. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a logical conclusion. I mean, also, he's hiding it, isn't he, that bastard? Also a logical conclusion, but woo, why were you hiding this? You didn't want me to know how pretty you were? Interesting. It's been a while since I last saw you in that form. You're wasting your handsome looks. If you attend the customers looking like that, our profits would soar into the skies. Being a fluffball's easier, in more ways than one. Oh my god, are you going to show us? Oh my god, there he is. He really is beautiful. They're all kind of beautiful in their own ways. Look at him. Look at him! Look at that CG! Okay, we'll bring her to her room now, so... Maria, you should also hurry up and... Brady, don't you think you should consider moving forward, too? Things were different when she was a small child, but Spacey should be able to come to terms with the truth about you now. Well, I'll tell her eventually, I promise. When the opportunity presents itself one day. Dearie me, we got another stubborn one. You two. What am I supposed to do with the both of you? Well, he's not our brother, because we did... Well, I mean, maybe, but I don't think a light, fluffy game is going to go that route, but... Is the secret just that he has a human form and he's been hiding it from us? Kind of curious what the other secret that he hasn't told us yet is. If it's just this or if there's something more to it. Jeez. She just went ahead and said whatever she wanted. What about my feelings, huh? He said eventually, but that day will never... Will that day ever come? If it does, then I... You're just happily dozing away, completely oblivious. You've grown so much, but when you're asleep, you look just like when you were a kid. Kitty... Look. As he runs his long fur, collects all the dust. Fully manual vacuum Rady. On sale now. At a bargain price. Seriously. You call me your precious family and you're trying to sell me at a discount. Stop. Rady. Ticklish. Jeez, look at you. How are you ever gonna make it if I'm not around to watch over you, huh? You never change. Honestly, you're a real handful. Right now, I'm a couple of armfuls. This is kind of adorable and precious, and I love it. He's technically our childhood friend. But usually the himbo is the childhood friend. So now we have a himbo, and then we have a childhood friend. A sassy childhood friend. So, like, a little different. Things moved very quickly after I made up my mind. Okay, sometimes the tsundere characters are childhood friend. Childhood friend! Listen. When the childhood friend kind of leans more into the himbo a lot more often. You know what I mean? Like, Vilio would technically fit more into the childhood friend trope. Like, the overlap on the Venn diagram is a little more in that than it is for the tsundere character or, like, the sassy character or whatever, you know what I mean? There's a little less overlap on the childhood friend, so... But... And normally, the childhood friends, I'm usually not a huge fan of because they are very overprotective. You know? So we'll see how Rady turns out. You know? Because he seems like he'd be the protective one. But like right now, I'm vibing with it. It's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. Because he's like imperfect. You know what I mean? And so far he's not like, oh my god, you can't do that. You can't do whatever. I mean, he's given up. I think he was more like, no. And then we thought about it. And we're making a choice. And he's not going to try to fight us. So, you know. So far I'm okay with the childhood friend-ish. That's the closest thing we have. So maybe it doesn't fall perfectly in the trope. So that'll be good. A pleasure doing business with you. From now on, Circus has both an assistant and a mascot. Hey! What do you mean by that? I don't get your panties in a bunch. It's just a figure of speech. Anyway, welcome. And now let's depart at once. Gather your things and follow me. Huh? Right now? She only just signed. don't whine. Everyone else is already waiting in the carriage. Are you going to tell me what a carriage is? Carriage! While commoners usually walk, they use public stagecoaches or ride with merchants to travel between cities. Each city is connected by a large highway. The carriage Circus uses is custom-made and exceptionally comfortable, and is drawn by a Sleipnir who remembers the routes. What is a Sleipnir? A Sleipnir? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Well, you tell me what that is. No. Whoops. What? I've parked the carriage. Oh, I don't know. I was doing Ginnia and Rady at the same time. I've parked the carriage right outside the city. Come immediately once you finish packing. Okay. Ginnia marched off proudly, not even allowing us a moment of protest. Rady and I hurriedly scrambled to gather our belongings. Our farewell with Spiria was just as rushed, and we ran to the outskirts of the city, where the carriage was apparently parked. Yeah, there they are! Hey, Spacey! Rady, over here! So you actually came. Sounds rich coming from me, but I'm impressed that you really decided to join this bunch of misfits. Come on, don't say that, Sephora. We're all going to be partners traveling together after all. Right, Ion? Ginnia specified that we should receive them with a smile. I want to see him try to smile and have it, like, just be teeth and, like, look like a snarl. Says the one who doesn't even have a hint of a smile on his face. Everyone's been super excited to welcome you two to the crew. I can't wait to travel with you. Oh, look! Filio's radiant smile bloomed a flower and warmth blossomed in my heart as well. Aww! Is that why he's poster boy? Again, he's a little too adorable for me. He's still pretty, but he's in the slightly more adorable. But he doesn't have the... He's not full in the lolly boy where I'm like, nah, too young for me. But the spunky bro dude, kind of... Yeah, that personality. That kind of personality. And like the pretty but slightly adorable face is just not normally my vibe. I do like him. Don't get me wrong. But he wouldn't be my first pick for poster boy. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, canon boyfriend. You know? But I don't hate him. And I wouldn't say, like, he's my least favorite. Because I kind of, so far, I actually do like all of the characters. So this is like one of those games where it's like, oh, actually all the love interests are kind of like, yeah, I kind of vibe with them all. So, you know. Anyway, but like, look, he's just so happy. And okay, as we've played games over the last, like, what, 7, 8 years, I have found a little more love for the himbos. They never used to be my favorite, but, you know, they've been doing with the games that we've been getting lately. It's like, you know, the himbos aren't terrible all the time. Again, not always my favorite, you know, but Vilio could be that weird exception where you're like, okay, he's got more of a youthful face than the others. That's not normally my favorite thing, but he's not in that full lolly boy where it's like, you look 12. You know what I mean? He kind of looks like he'd be our age, so fine. You know, he's got that boisterous attitude that's, again, not normally my favorite, but it doesn't... I don't hate those characters. They're just usually not my favorite, but, like, I kind of like it on him for some reason. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what's happening to me, so it's fine. Oh, wait, did I read that? Oh, whoops. Oh, there it is. Vilio's radiant smile bloomed a flower, and warmth blossomed in my heart. I think I did read that. Anyway, his happiness was genuine. He welcomed me with open arms and was truly excited to have us along. So much so that his emotions manifested as a blooming chorus. Me, a cheerful, gutsy 16-year-old girl who works at Lieber, her aunt's tavern. So now we know we're 16. Okay. She was content with her peaceful life, but one day she was suddenly dragged into a mysterious group called Circus and became their producer. Ever since, her life has been anything but ordinary. I do feel like for the plot of this, I know that they do this a lot in Otome games where we're like 16 or 17. I feel like for the plot of this, though, okay, I go both ways. We're in a not realistic setting. It's not a normal reality setting. It's a fantasy setting. So usually in fantasy settings, it kind of goes with the almost like old-fashioned sensibilities of like 16, that's when you were getting married. Where now you're like, whoa, 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 simmer your roll. You don't get married at 16. Chill out. Fuck. Grow up a little. You know what I mean? But fantasy settings tend to have, they seem to follow the rules of ye oldie times. Like, we're freaking a medieval peasant over here. You know what I mean? Like, they seem to follow old-fashioned rules. Where like 16 is like, hey, it's time for you to think about settling down, getting married, and like, and we're in a kingdom. You know what I mean? Like, so for that, I can't really begrudge it for going with the 16 thing. However, and pushing her out of the nest, whatever, it seems more like, yeah, I mean, I guess because it's a fantasy setting and it's going with that kind of rule set. I put the air quotes around that, you know what I mean? But generally, that's where we go. But I do feel like for this, like, okay, we're going out, we're doing this, like, she probably should have been older, like at least 18 or something. You know what I mean? Like 16 feels a little too young. Like, I don't know. So I have a weird thing with that. And it's like, you know, why do they always have to be like 16? You know? And it's not like, well, because it's a high school setting. That makes sense. This isn't. So, like, they didn't really have to go with the 16 thing. Like, that feels a little weird to me, but yeah, okay, fine. Whatever. But anyway, if that's the case, then I'm just going to assume Vilio is like 16, 17-ish, around the same age. And what they like to do is like, he's 16. He looks 12. He's like 16, 17. I'm going to guess. Kind of looks it. He's got a little youthful face, but it works for being just on the verge of being an adult at 18. You know what I mean? But being the late teenager type of a thing. So I appreciate that because, again, they like to do like, oh, he's the same age as you. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he looks 12. That's creepy. He looks 16. It's creepy for me being as old as fuck as I am, but I'm playing a 16-year-old character and, like, you know. It's also different when it's art. Like, an actual 16-year-old in real life literally looks like a toddler. But he looks youthful, and you stand him next to someone who's 25, and they barely look any different. You're like, they look maybe a year or two different, and it's like, it's a 10-year age difference. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, at least he doesn't look 12, is my point. So, good for that. Yeah, me too. Me 3. Vilio may have been the only one who seemed excited, but that didn't stifle my joy one bit. I relished the excitement in my chest, and Rady gave me a reassuring smack with his tail. I mean, everyone else might be happy, but maybe they're not just as joyously excited as Vilio because he's kind of dumb. So, like, you know, he's the himbo character, okay? He's a little dumb. He's a little simple, okay? So, like, his joy would be a little bit easier to bloom a flower than anybody else. Everyone's like, yeah, no, I'm happy about this. This is good. But they got so much else going on, you know? Simple joy. Vilio's got a simple joy. It's easier to bloom that flower. You know what I'm saying? No worries. Rady the Great has your back. Let's head out. I'm back with way more experience and show Spiria what we're made of. Yeah, you're right. I decided that I'd try, so I won't just do it halfway. Let's all do our best together. And now our journey begins at last. I took a step forward, one tiny step away from my happy, warm, normal days at Liber. What awaited me was the start of our adventure. Intermission! Alright, everybody go get some popcorn. Maybe a drink. Never mind! It's over. Intermission's over. You missed it. You didn't have time to go to the bathroom unless you just peed in your seat. Or you're watching this on your phone while you're peeing. I don't want to know that. Moments after we departed from Arthur, inside the rattling carriage, finally made our belated introductions. We're gonna be together for quite a while. So it'd be nice if we kicked things off by learning about our fellow victims. It's true. We haven't introduced ourselves properly either. I like how we said victims and we just rolled with it. Fair. In that case, I'll kick things off. Ginia! I like how they gave him a title card! Look at that, so cute! I kinda like that. I'm sure you know exactly who I am, even if I didn't announce my name to you. I'm Ginia. Ginia, due to his flashy and gaudy conduct, this noble has made a name for himself inside Arthir, a maverick who loves fashion and luxury above all else. Under the orders of the king, he becomes the person responsible for circus and the collection of blooming flora. However, he doesn't seem motivated no matter how you look at him, and everyone's exasperated by his conduct. But I love him. I love it. Everything about that I love. I usually work in the castle, but my elegance must have been so loved and admired that they couldn't resist making me circus's leader. Or they were just sick of you and wanted to get you out of the castle. They're like, can you give... Yeah, make it Ginia so he gets the hell out of here. Jesus. Circus 1. A troupe of performers led by Ginia. They answer directly to the reigning king, King Vigonia? Other than Ginia, the members are Vilio, Zavora, Pashalia, and Ion. With the addition of our heroine and Rady, the roster comes to a grand total of 7. Their goal is to go to each major city and bloom 5 flora, which are essential to melting Prince Colivis? Yeah, because Colivis is a drug. Okay, Colivis's heart. Once they accomplish this mission, King Vigonia... Yeah, Vigonia? Begonia sounds like begonia. So he sounds like a flower, so... He sounds like a begonia that blooms in Virginia. So it's a Virginian begonia, so we just call it a begonia. I can live with that. It doesn't sound like a medication. He sounds like a flower, so... Begonia will grant them 1 wish each. If you ever encounter any trouble, come to me right away. It's going to be nice when we don't have 7,000 tour guide spacey, not gallery, whatever's to read. My god, my brain's broken. I will. Pleased to meet you, Lord Ginia. Oh, just Ginia is fine. Spare me the formalities. We're going to be traveling together a long time, after all. Got it. In that case, if something ever comes up, I'll be counting on you, Ginia. Oh, strange. Can't think of anything that's ever been resolved by talking with Ginia. Oh, my. Please think twice before you say that. This carriage, our mystical tent, even our gorgeous clothes. I made them all possible. You should actually thank me for all the comforts you have on this journey, you know. Oh, no wonder. That's why we have the luxury of riding in a carriage pulled by Fae, huh? The tent in the plaza was amazing, too. So that really was a mystical tool? Very much so. It was designed specifically for us, and it comes equipped with the latest tech. When not in use, it can fold into a tiny box, so it's very portable. The setup's easy, too. It practically does everything on its own. It builds itself? Wow! Actually, wow! Pretty cool. Huh. So that's how such a huge tent appeared out of nowhere in one day. The mystic tools I usually used weren't too fancy. Things like lamps and ovens you see everywhere. Lamps and ovens are mystic tools. A self-extracting circus tent is... Wow! A lamp and an oven are standard. Since we ran a restaurant, we had sets of slightly pricey cooking utensils too, but everything here was on another level. There's probably a bunch of high-end mystic tools with functions I would never guess just by looking. Well, we're endorsed by the royal family after all. Our tools must be up to such standards. You're up next, Pashalia. Introduce yourself, if you please. I love the little title cards. It's so cute. Okay, I'm Pashalia, and I come from a small village called Ruth. I'm not saying Ruth, eh? We're just gonna go with Ruth. Ruth, the small village where Pashalia was born. There's a spring nearby where spirits live. Most of the villagers are farmers. Vegetables grown in Ruth are juicy and very sweet. It tells us nothing about Pashalia. It's just like you two. I joined circus because Ginia gave me an offer. I only left my village recently, so there are many things I don't know. I might cause you some trouble, but please take care of me. Okay, so I only left my village, so there's a lot of things I don't know. Yeah, but you're still not as dumb as Vilio. A little naive and innocent. Considering that we're going to be putting on shows and all, your powers and looks will sure come in handy. Will for sure come in handy, sorry. Hey, I know your contracted water spirit must be super strong. How strong exactly? When the four major elements, fire, water, earth, and wind, gained a will of their own, we called them spirits. Element, the energy that makes up the world. There are four: fire, wind, water, and earth. Together they make up the classical elements. They could be said to be nature itself, and they were everywhere. If a human formed a contract with one, they could borrow the spirit's power and unleash it in the form of what we call magic. I know that humans who contract with strong spirits get a makeover, but even being me, I haven't seen a human who's been influenced to this degree. Even me being me, sorry. A good point. I'm contracted with a wind spirit myself, but the only thing that changed was the color of a single lock of hair. Well, that explains the pink in his hair. Wind spirit. Wind spirits are the embodiment of freedom. They do as they like and are the hardest spirits to communicate with, resulting in them having the least contractors. Though forming a relationship or contract is difficult, once they're invested in someone, they'll treasure their bond forever. I like how it is they do as they like and are the hardest spirits, the embodiment of freedom, they do as they like. That kind of described Ginnia, so no wonder why the wind spirit was like, we vibe, bruh. Even if it's not one of the legendary great spirits, it must be at least a higher spirit. The four great spirits, good fucking god. The amount of glossaries. Incredibly powerful spirits representing each magical element. Celius, the great spirit of earth, Libra, the great spirit of wind, Leve, the great spirit of water, Valen, the great spirit of fire. Together they founded a city to grant Arthur's wish. Nowadays they're nowhere to be found. Higher spirits. Spirits absorb elements in nature, and over time they begin to gain their own form and will. Eventually they can become classified as higher spirits after a lengthy life. Higher spirits can reveal their appearance to anyone they want at their own will, and can also engage in conversation. They obtain the ability to sustain their bodies with their own mana pool, which means that they can travel outside their natural territory. I'm sorry, tour guide Spacey voice is killing me, so we're falling off and I'm reading these fast, because good lord. Yeah, that's probably the case. I think. Wait. Are you trying to hint that maybe Pashalia is the water spirit himself, not contracted with a water spirit? Because you know what I mean? You should know the water spirit that you're contracted with and go, oh, they're a higher spirit or not. You know what I mean? And him being like, yeah, that sounds right, I guess. Yeah, sure. Go with that. It sounds more like he is a higher water spirit. That would be an interesting twist. I like that. Probably? I don't really remember what happened during my contract. The next thing I knew, I looked like this. Is that really true? Or I think him actually being a water spirit would have been kind of interesting, like a higher level. You know what I mean? That would have been kind of an interesting twist. We'll see what happens. That's why I don't really know how to use magic either. Ginnia's contract is with a wind spirit. Ilio's a fire element fae, so I can't ask them for help. Brady, you can use a bit of magic, right? Well, I'm fae, so yeah. But I'm of the earth element, so I'm afraid I can't help you there, Pashalia. Plus, I can only do parlor tricks at best. The fae and humans channel magic differently, and contracts aren't all that common. Contractors, sorry. Yeah, and that's why I want to look for someone who can wield strong water magic along the way. They're difficult to find. Well, we're heading around the world, so who knows? You just might find someone. Exactly. That's what I'm hoping for. Be the sigh of relief when I do. Okay, that's all for me, I think. But please take over from here, Zephora. Oh, my beautiful boyfriend. Okay, wait till he puts on his clown costume. But I'm just saying, he has bitch face. So, if you slapped glasses on him, this is Van Helsing. Okay, you know what I mean? He has resting bitch face, and I just like the resting bitch faces. Again, glasses, you could see it, right? I mean, they look nothing alike, but I just mean the look, the fucking sick of this shit look. There. I guess I just picked up on that from seeing the card and being like, if clown, why hot? And I love you. Because I can't date Ginnia, so of the love interests. You're the one I love the most, and we're gonna go down your route first, and I hate that. I love it a little bit because, like, yay! But also, well, but boo. I don't like doing my favorite first. I want to save them for later, but I know we could reverse them, but whatever. Name's Zephora. I work as an information broker. I'm from Kultura, the Labyrinth City. I volunteered to join Circus because there's something I want. What would that be? I don't owe you an explanation. I was waiting for none of your damn business. This works. Yeah, I was pretty surprised when you started introducing yourself without a fuss. But there's the good old Zephora I know. The bare minimum suffices. And do not get in the way of my work, remember that. Are you listening, lizard? I'm talking to you. And I've never gotten in the way before, Zephora. Do you have the memory of a goldfish? Is that thing above your neck purely decorative? Is your brain smaller than a bird's, perhaps? Oh my god, he's so mean and awful. I love him so good. Hey, I'll have you know that my brain's the same size as yours. Are you sure? Look at him, look at his little pout mouth. Oh, so cute. Plus, that didn't count as getting in your way. I was only calling out to you because you didn't notice me. That's what others call a disturbance. Okay. Oh, that's me. Okay. Let's all calm down now. Yeah, same with you, bird. Don't bite. Zephora, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You're not off the hook either. The only thing you're good for is being normal. You really manage this problematic lineup. I'll manage you, you sassy little bitch. I mean, what? True, you might be preferable to Ginia, but that's all. Preferable at best. I don't expect anything from you. You're better off just looking after that incompetent lizard so he doesn't drag me down. What? Did you just insult me in front of everyone? Oh, I need a fan. I'm so hot right now. I love the assholes. Put glasses on him. It's sold. God damn. And then the erection because you're like a clown. Woo! I can't wait to see him as a clown because I feel like the personality is going to be a switch and it's going to be like, what the hell happened? He put that hat on and all of a sudden he's social and friendly and nice? What the fuck? Gonna start calling him Chuckles? Anyway. Oi, dude. You just met her and you're supposed to work with all of us from now on. How could you say something like that? I only stated the objective truth, Furball. I don't trust you either. Wow, a blunt one, aren't we? Oh well, even if you don't get it right now, you can learn along the way. I don't have any such plans, unfortunately, for you. Whatever, suit yourself. You're next, right? Ion, was it? I'm Ion. I used to be a member of the Public Security Forces. I knew this was going to happen with him. He's like, uh-huh. And you're like, and? Could you add any more information? We knew that. I hail from Ferris. Oh, come on. Introductions are the first step forward in any relationship. And try a little harder, will you? Communication is the most fundamental thing on a team. In that case, I shall say this. I'm opposed to you two joining Circus. What? Are you trying to tell us that we should turn on our heels right now and go back home? If that's possible, yes. A lengthy journey comes with danger, and no one can predict when trouble will strike. We will cross forests, and we move between cities, and fiend encounters are likely. If a young woman and a small creature join, escaping them would be much more difficult. You have a point, but... Reaches out and slaps him. See? I can... He dodges, though. Of course he does. Okay. Stop right there, Ion. I get what you're trying to say. But... I'm the one who gave them the job. It's already decided that they're part of the group. Do I make myself clear? Also, I'm pretty sure I can handle myself better than Ginia can. Like, he might break a nail. And I don't care. If I break a nail, you know what I mean? Understood. Ion didn't look convinced at all as he turned his head away from us. Maybe I seem really thoughtless in the eyes of an ex-officer, making this decision. Perhaps I shouldn't have come along after all. Vilio, Pashalia, and Ginia welcomed me with open arms, but... Well, Pashalia was more like... Ginia and Vilio were like, yay! And Pashalia's like, alright, I'm cool with this. Pashalia's more like in between, where he's not mad about it, but he's not super happy. He doesn't really care. He's like, sure, it seems fine, I guess. Zephora and Ion didn't seem to share the same sentiment. Well, Zephora doesn't like anybody or anything. He's a prickly bitch. And Ion is just very stuffy and, probably legitimately has a concern. So, it makes sense. But Zephora is just going to be pissed about everything. Don't look so dejected. I don't think Ion said that with any ill will. And even if it's dangerous, you have me. No need to worry. You might be the danger. Alright, thank you. Okay, it's my turn next. I know we're kind of over time, but we're at time, but we'll finish the introductions at least. I'm Vilio, and I'm from the Island of Dragons. Flying's my specialty, and I love meat. Nice to meet you once again, Spacey and Rady. Yeah, nice to meet you again too. And, there's an island full of dragons? Dragons usually live in solitude, but that island's an exception. Apparently a bunch of dragons live there. Yep, exactly. You're very knowledgeable. Vilio grinned widely. Looking at him, it was difficult to associate him with the classification of legendary fey beast. I know, right? Because he's kind of an idiot. However, he was a dragon through and through. I saw it with my own eyes, so I have no choice other than to believe it, but at the same time, somewhere in the back of my mind, I still had lingering doubts that the person before me really was a dragon. Plus, Zephora was calling him a lizard. Well, a dragon is kind of a lizard. Adjacent, right? He really isn't anything like how you'd imagine a dragon, especially like this. He's just a nuisance in the shape of a fey. At any rate, it's nice to meet ya. Okie dokie, time for our introductions now. Rady. I'm Rady, and as you can see, I'm a lovely and adorable fey beast. I'm gonna be the team mascot after all. You can count on me to attract loads of spectators with my killer cuteness. Sure you aren't a duster instead? Hopefully you'll be more than just baggage. He is a little duster, isn't he? Do Rady. Well, dancing's a forte of mine. And nobody can beat me when it comes to being popular with kids. Dancing, I see. I'm a bit envious. I've never been very good at it. I can teach you my almighty pretty dance anytime you want. The offer always stands. I might take you up on that sometime. Sure, leave it to Rady the Great. And I'm the only one left, right? I'm Spacey. I'll do my best to support everyone as the public relations manager and producer. Assistant girl! Not producer, assistant girl. Our heroine's occupation in circus. Usually she doesn't stand on stage as a star of the show, but plays a critical role in supporting the framework of the troupe. Thinking about strategies to attract spectators, coming up with the contents of their show, and giving instructions to all the members is her job. I hope we can all work together. Of course. Of course, just blank. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so maybe Pashalia welcomed us with open arms in his own way, which is just a little toned down. Vilio was so fucking excited, and Pashalia's like, cool, alright. He's just chill about it. And Ion and Zephora are over there sulking. And now that we've gotten introductions out of the way, I'll sum up what our goals are once again. If I remember correctly, we have to perform at each of the 5 major cities and make the flora bloom, right? What if we only need 5 flowers to bloom? Can't we just perform 5 times at the capital? Why go through all the trouble of touring through each city? Well, the reason for that stems from how exactly flora are made by improving chloris. To tell you the truth, the number of blooming chloris is plummeting everywhere. What? How? Didn't know that at all. Well, now that you mention it, I feel like I haven't seen that many lately. Exactly. And the most apparent decrease is in the Big 5. If blooms around the country remain at this level, the flora likely won't bloom either. That's why we have to deal with the factors limiting chloris blooms in the cities before we can make the flora blossom. That sounds dozens of times harder than what I initially imagined. This group has such a heavy responsibility weighing on its shoulders. Am I really going to be able to do my job as the producer?
Oh, it's not as simple as we thought. Just entertaining people isn't enough, huh?
Perhaps Rady shared the same opinion because I could feel his worried gaze on me. And so,
I want you to happily do what you want to do without wondering what if. There are a lot of adventures you can only go on when you're young. You should attempt everything you can with your whole heart.
Speria encouraged me to move forward, and I can't let that go to waste.
You can get out now if you have cold feet.
No, I won't. I said I'd try, so I'll push through until the very end. I promise.
If that's what you've decided on, I'll do everything I can too. The cities, the country, I'll change them all. You have me, so rest easy. I'm counting on you two then.
Oh, I knew I had a keen eye. Go me!
On that topic, the king will grant any wish we have when we're done, right?
Yes, that is the case.
What are y'all gonna ask for? I'm thinking about maybe mystic tools that I can give to my parents as presents.
That's wonderful.
I don't really have anything in mind.
I want to pat him on the head right now. We know that, sweetie, but that's not what we were asking.
I don't have anything on my mind.
Yeah, ever. That is literally your tagline. I love it.
I also do not have any requests. I'm only participating because my superior wills it.
Jeez. I'll learn to be greedy for once. Since they're giving you the chance, you might as well use it for something.
How about you, Zephora? Like I said earlier, there's something I want. That's all you'll get out of me. It's not like you lose anything from telling us. I don't sell information cheap. That's my policy. Okay, whatever you say, dude.
I kind of love everybody's little vibe with each other. It's fun.
What should I ask for?
Kind of hard to pinpoint something when they say they'll grant any one wish.
Well, we're gonna go visit all the cities, so we have all the time in the world to decide.
Right. I wanted to come up with something that'd make both Speria and Rady happy. But before I considered the end of the journey, I needed to focus on the present. So we need to resolve the problems of each city, reform, and make the flora bloom. Practice and promotion are a must. Things are definitely going to get busy. By the way, if we're heading to each of the major 5 cities, are we possibly en route to... You may have guessed, but we're heading to the closest city to Eshelita's capital. Kalida, the Scholar City. Kalida, the Scholar City, founded by Celius, the great spirit of Earth. Yeah, okay. The brain of Eshelita, located right next to Arthir. Many of the citizens are researchers, their families, or students going through higher education. Nearly all of the research facilities and institutes in Eshelita are located in Kalida. I had a feeling that was the case, but hearing him say it out loud...
Lacey, you alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. I mean it. 10 years have already passed. This must be where our parents died, where we lived. I already steeled myself, knowing we'd have to come here eventually. Kalida. A city of knowledge with the Sage Tower at its heart, where scholars and researchers gathered. Sage Tower! Located at the center of Kalida, this tower is where all the essence of wisdom in Eshelita is gathered. A lofty construct made by Celius, the great spirit of Earth. Research is conducted all day and night, and the lights are never snuffed out. The researchers of the Sage Tower are the ones who develop flora through experiments with chloris. There's also the city I once lived in with my parents. Were 2 of those researchers. Okay, good. I was like, we're gonna stop, guys, because it's been 10 minutes. I'm waiting for the introductions to stop, but perfect. Common route chapter 1. Look at that. We're getting into chapter 1. Perfect place to wrap it up today. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.